Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Thursday, July 25th, 2024. I, of course, am with Originator Success here with your daily mortgage rate update, the only place on the web where you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, broadcasting to you on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to give me a hashtag replay, as so many of you do in the comments. Appreciate you doing that, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. It does make a difference. Thank you so much. If you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash that like button, tag an hello friend, share us in a group. If you'd like to sign up for our free email lock advice, you can get that to your inbox each and every weekday morning at www.ratelockadvice.com or use this cool QR code. You could also sign up for our text alerts. They do come in handy on a day like yesterday, where even though reprice risk was low, we did end up seeing bonds lose ground through the day. We did send out a reprice alert, and after that, a lot of lenders did reprice worse. Now, somebody reached out to me and commented that we had sent out a reprice alert and other services didn't. Again, I have nothing to do with anyone else or how things go. And we're not always going to be the ones that are on the heroes of the day, if you will. But yesterday was a good day where we did get out that alert. Sometimes it happens. Market stuff changes. I do this with you in the morning, but things change. And I'll show you yesterday afternoon, we kind of just saw bonds really drift lower after starting the day positive. So that's why it's worth paying $7 a month and get protected. Let you know when things do change and where we're at for that. If you'd like a live reminder that I'm going live, you can get that at hmr.io/reminder. Also, don't forget to check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Although I love talking about rates and pricing each and every day, what we do here at Originator Success is help you to get loans from Google and social media. We help you. We've got review management, helping generate reviews, get those reviews on Google. We know how to optimize. We do an ongoing audit and optimization for your online brand, your online presence. People are looking at you online. Even if you've been referred, they are checking you out. We make you look like a rock star. Provide you with an awesome website that converts and creates conversations. We also help you to go ahead and get some stay in front of real estate agents, past clients, help you to generate some business with social posts and emails. So we've got a lot in one platform. It's a few $100 a month, but it generates a lot. We have no contracts, no setup fees, because our members make money on what we do. So go check it out at originatorssuccess.com. Enough about that. Let's go ahead and say hi to the live folks. Who do we got here this morning? Say good morning. Let me know that you were here, like Megan Lindbergh. Good morning, Megan. Brandy Brickler, great to have you here, my friend. Venkat Malapati, good morning, sir. Dean Young, great to see you. Mike Morano, here every day. Appreciate you, Mike. Alexandria, my daughter's name is Alexandra, so Alexandria Villanova, nice to see you. Good morning. Tim Klyla, Mike Tebow, my Michigan crowd, great to have you all here. Bobby Searson, good morning, Bobby. Rock, great to see you, my friend. Hope all is well out in Colorado. And that you are doing well. Hope you're getting in some wheeling this year and having fun. Candido, good morning, sir. Great to see you, my friend, up in the Northeast, where it's probably, I think the weather up there is actually pretty nice. It is rainy. That's why it's so dark behind me. It's rainy and down here in the south. So, all right, my friends, let's go ahead and good morning, Yasmin. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on this morning. Ron Siegel said today is National Wine and Cheese Day. More importantly, it's National Hire a Veteran Day. That'll help the housing market or the jobs market. So big win on that one. Definitely agree. So, all right, taking a look this morning, what we see here is that mortgage-backed securities. Let me see if I click this. I don't like this one. I gotta mess around with this. Let's try this. Nah. All right, let's go to this one. All right, there we go. So if we take a look here, what you will see is that mortgage-backed securities currently up about 3 basis points to start the day. It is a little funky. Let me see if I go ahead and zoom in on this. MBS Live had some early data showing huge overnight gains, and I don't believe him. I don't trust him. It's not that I'm throwing shade. That's not the case at all. I just think that there was something that was trade noise here, because none of the other services were showing any big gains in the morning. And you could see that it was there for a little while and then it disappeared. I would almost erase this little pillar here. But basically, let me zoom in one more time so that here, let me get my head out of the way altogether. There we are. So taking a look here, What I wanted to show you was what happened yesterday. So let's do a 2-day chart here. And you can see this here. Yesterday, we lost ground through the afternoon. See how this line just went down. So these are mortgage-backed securities, the 6.0 coupon. When pricing came out, we were around, like 100.90-ish, 100.95, depending on when lenders came out with pricing. And through the afternoon, it just kind of lost ground. And that's when we started to see reprices come in, and it lost ground, a little bit further to end the day. Just drifting. There was no real reason to see this loss yesterday. It was just drifting. If you take a look here, you could see that after peaking out here, 101.15, here we were 101.11, here we were 101.09. We were really running flat last week, and then we just kind of lost ground. Now, again, this candlestick, I don't even believe that candlestick. I don't think we started up that high. I think we started more about here. I don't think, according to this candlestick, we started the day at 101.12. I don't think that was the case. Again, I don't know what's up with this. But I would argue right here is your GDP data, where we did see it kind of lose ground, and that was because of the GDP data. I'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, 10-year treasury yield 4.25. That's a little bit higher than we were at yesterday when pricing came out. It was about 4.22. And all these technicals, what does all this stuff really mean? Well, it's like, come on, Hammer, speak English. What it really means is that we lost a little bit of ground, not much. Rate sheets are going to be worse today, not tremendously. Reprice risk on the day is low. It was low yesterday, but we did see reprices because the risk is low, not non-existent. It's still trading, right? So it is low today. It's unlikely we see anything. We did get the GDP data. Let me go ahead and let me put this where I want over here, and let's go ahead and dig into this. So we got GDP data. Let's see, which one of these am I wanting? Here we go. Nope, not that one. We probably pull it from Bloomberg, but I'll do the Wall Street Journal one. So the U.S. economy, why is that making? I might have to shrink this down so it fits. It's such an odd. Come on. Okay, there we go. Hopefully I get high-speed internet in the next couple months, fiber, that'll help speed this loading up. Anyway, U.S. economy grew at a brisk 2.8% rate in the second quarter. The first quarter finalized numbers were 1.4%, so that's double the rate that we saw in the first quarter. It was expected to see that. These are preliminary numbers. What happens with the GDP data is we get the preliminary, we get the revised, and then we get the final. So this is going to be changed 2 more times, and as almost always seems to happen with all the data lately, it's very likely we see this actually go down. But bonds, this does not help to see better pricing this morning. If the economy is doing well, it makes it less likely that the Fed is going to cut rates. However, markets are still betting big on this, my friends. They are absolutely betting big. If we take a look here, the idea of a July rate cut still off the table. Right now, markets believe the Fed will keep rates exactly where they're at. There's a very, very small contingent that's there. Ron said, am I still on the old dial-up internet? Dude, I am on internet. I am on a wireless radio internet, but let's not get distracted by that. I'll tell you about it another time. In September, though, take a look here. This, if you're not careful, this will slip by us, right? So when we take a look here, it was a 90% expectation that we're going to see a rate cut in September, and there's actually a 10% belief that the cut could be a full 0.5 point and not just a 1/4 point. I think it's very unlikely, but it shows you that even though we're getting that stronger GDP data, markets are doubling down on this idea that we are going to see the Fed cut rates, in September. The idea of November rate cut, a second cut up to 60%. So the idea that we would see one cut and stop is about 30%. Markets believe 60% that we will see 2 cuts, one in September, one in November, and that by the time we get to December, it is a very clear winner that we will be at 4.5, which would be 3 rate cuts. That's one in September, one in November, one in December, taking us from 5.25 down to 4.5. Only about a third believe we would stay at 4.75, meaning we'd only see 2 cuts, whether that's one in September, one in December, one in September, one in November. But that's really where they're pricing in. But, majority is 3, maybe even a little bit more. There's another 7%. This brings up to 60%. 2/3 believe we are going to see 3 rate cuts. Ron Siegel says, Daniel DiMartino Booth said to expect 50 to 75 bips in September as real data starts manifesting. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that is definitely I think that is a Babe Ruth point out, go for the home run kind of call, and I applaud her for forecasting and not taking a conservative route. But I do not think we see a big cut in September. The data is not strong enough to bring us there. Now, remember, we're going to get the Fed meeting, so next week we get a lot of information. Now, let's talk about this idea of a September cut. Now, what's funny is, here we go. You have one guy that says the Fed may be 2 meetings away from a policy mistake by not cutting in September. And then you have another guy that turns around and says September rate cut would be a mistake, setting back the Fed's inflation fight. So it's so funny. These are all opinion pieces, by the way. The blue here is an opinion piece here on Bloomberg. Anything with this, Bloomberg's being very careful to make sure that they mark these as opinion pieces and show these as opinion pieces. But when you take a look here, it really is kind of funny. The Fed may be 2 meetings from an error, Mohammed El-Arian. John Author says rate cuts can't come too soon for U.S. consumers, and then you get other ones where they're like, no, a rate cut would be a terrible idea. It'll set back where we're at with inflation. You have talk about how President Trump wins, economists see revived inflation, a more wary Fed. The headlines all over the place on this stuff. It really is, right? Which just shows nobody knows what's going to happen. One thing we do know is going to happen, though, next week. Remember, we have a lot of data coming out next week. I'm just going to go ahead and let me put this back to just me. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. All camera. How do I get all camera? Yeah, that's not what I want either. I have to. Thumbnail, picture-in-picture, half screen cover, spotlight. But I don't want the spotlight on this. Hide. There we go. All right, let's do that. So anyway, taking a look, remember, next week is going to be where we get all the data. So tomorrow we're going to get the PCE inflation data. Best case scenario, it's going to help rate sheets improve a little bit to end the week. Not tremendously. Don't expect any big improvement. We've lost ground. I said things are likely to drift higher this week. Unfortunately, that's what we've seen happen. Taking a look at what that actually means, like looking at rate sheets. Let's take a look together. Looking at rate sheets, I mean, this is the drift. We ended last week at 6.89 on Friday. This week we've been at 6.89, 6.87, 6.9. This morning we'll probably be at 6.89 again if we hold any, if it gets there. So there the stuff. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that, Ron. Appreciate your talk on that. So taking a look here, again, I don't see much of a change. I don't think the PC data is going to be big. Now, one thing to note about the GDP data that we got in just a little while ago, let me see where the GDP data is here. I had it on the Wall Street Journal. So when we had this GDP data, the PCE inflation data, it actually comes in quarterly. So the report we get tomorrow is the monthly. The quarterly came in at 2.9 versus the expected 2.7. That could arguably be pointing to the idea that tomorrow's PCE inflation is going to come in higher than expected. However, I don't buy it. PCE tends to track too closely with what we see with the CPI, and I don't think we have to worry about that tomorrow. But I don't think tomorrow's PCE gains are going to get any real momentum or any real traction as far as trades go. Rate sheets could get a little bit better to end the week, not a lot. Everything's really, again, our movement this week, the last couple of weeks has been very small. Any day-to-day movement feels like big movement because we haven't seen anything. Next week, though, it's going to be all hands on deck. We have on Monday, we're going to have the Treasury refunding schedule, which is a quiet thing that will actually, depending on how much debt is hitting, it tends to kind of gives a little bit of fluctuation to rates just for that little bit of a blip on Monday. But, then we got JOLTS data coming up. We've got the Fed meeting on Wednesday. Let me take a look here. I think the JOLTS data, let me make this a lot smaller. I think the JOLTS data is on, hold on, let me just make this full screen so I can get what I want. This economic calendar. Here we go. Okay, let's make this a little bigger. All right, let me change this view. Hold on a minute. Okay, So taking a look here, let's pop this down. Take a look at what we got next week, right? So you got the Treasury refunding estimates on Monday. Like I said, that's a little bit of a blip. But really, you got JOLTS data coming out at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. We've got the big Fed meeting on Wednesday. And of course, Fed Chair Jerome Powell's press conference going to be the big market mover. You got some important PMI data coming out on Thursday, jobless claims, but really the big thing, of course, the BLS jobs data and the payroll data, unemployment, all coming out on Friday, the BLS data, right? So, Matt Graham's got 2 stars next to this one as far as how important things are with this. So that's going to be a big deal. And then after that, remember that where we go after that is we're going to go to the inflation data coming out 8/14. So that's going to end up being 2 weeks basically after that is going to be the next thing. So we're going to have a lot of movement at the beginning of August, but it points to the idea that if the Fed meeting shows a hawkish tone, if the labor data comes in showing softening the labor market, if that CPI inflation data comes in showing inflation continues to cool, we're going to see rates, just ease their way lower. Not big drops, but easing their way lower. And that's going to be good. We definitely want to see that. So, all right, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up. Tomorrow I'll be on the road. By the way, I'm leaving this afternoon. The wife and I are going to Pawleys Island to enjoy some time together. I will come to you in the morning. We'll talk about what happened with the PCE data, but I'm going to keep tomorrow brief. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And again, thank you for the kind words, Ron. Appreciate you. Take care, everybody, and make it a great day. Bye-bye.